Welcome back to Sat 7 Sports, out in the boonies. I'm the Contained Kunas, and going over what's been the main issue in sports for the past couple months is like trying to get back from COVID and all that. We've heard through the last couple weeks, we've heard NHL getting its way to work out with its 24-team playoff format. You have the NBA finally deciding to get everything together for its remainder of the regular season for its 22 teams. But then you go on to baseball, where the MLB has been fighting within itself between the players' union and the owners to try and just restart the season. And unlike NHL and NBA, they haven't even started their regular season for 2020. So in this case, they're trying to, like back in March, as COVID just started, they were on a bit of an agreement where they knew, like mid-March, whenever we were about a month into COVID, they had gone into agreement where they were having a bit of adjustment to the schedule from the last time I did this video for MLB. It was where they're going to adjust everything between postseason, going from 12 to 14 team postseasons. They're going to expand the rosters from a 30-man roster to a 50-man roster. Well, from a 25-man roster to a 30-man roster with a 20-man taxi group. Basically, if anyone gets COVID, they have 20 players in excess. This was still whenever everything was we didn't know how bad it was going to be. Then you have the universal DH, and then you have all the franchises were going to get more in-depth medical staff to help everyone kind of interact and be able to react to whatever would happen with COVID and all along those lines. And then lastly, they're going to make regional matchups to where you weren't going to see the Seattle against Miami Marlins matchup. You're going to get ones that are more likely interleague matchups. We're going to be a bit difficult to do, but you're going to get a lot of more league-based. American League against American League, National League against National League, and all that. And then from the initial proposal that the owners had said, they were trying to do an 82-game schedule. This is the very first one that they did in March, where it kind of came on ahead all the way in April, beginning of May, to where you had owners basically saying that they're going to do an 82-game schedule with prorated play and having basically trying to do a revenue split, where they were kind of expecting that they knew not having fans in stadiums, it was going to make it very difficult to be able to get the full revenue that, like, they weren't going to get the full revenue that they would get off a regular 162-game season. And at the point from this first one, it's like they knew it wasn't going to be a full season. So they essentially put a salary cap on what Major League Baseball was going to have to do for players and all that. So it was going to be prorated play to where everyone was going to get paid per game in an 82-game fashion, instead of if someone had a $20 million contract that stretched through 162 games. Like just a 1-year, $20 million contract. In this case, it would essentially, their contract was basically already was going to get cut in half based off of, they're going to get paid that same amount that they would get each 162 games, but only get that amount for those 82. So, but from that, we've had several proposals between the Players Association, the Players Union, and the owners. Yeah, starting off with that 82-game season, which the players were really not a fan of, for the fact that it was going to require them to make extra pay cuts outside of just getting the less amount of games. Because you had owners basically saying that for each game lost, for each game that was getting played without fans, teams were going to lose upwards to $640,000 apiece. So, which honestly seems kind of absurd, and you've had many articles and many columnists basically try and run those numbers, and it's like, for the fact that Major League Baseball owners, they're not required to show their revenue splits off of it, to where they don't have to tell where everything's going to and all that to really anyone. The numbers on that seemed to kind of just come out of nowhere and be just skewed towards the owner's favor. So they end up making their own proposal, trying to make, like, with that 82 game schedule, which the players rejected. Then you had the players trying to put a 112 game schedule together that would have started in the latter June and end in late October, just as the normal regular season would. The regular season and playoffs would. All the postseason, everything else was going to be as stated with the original proposal, but without the extra pay cuts. Now that not all the extra pay cuts that they're accounting for, that $640,000 per game. And you've heard from several big name people in Major League Baseball, different players between Bryce Harper, Max Scherzer, Trevor Bauer, Blake Snell. In this ways, they're wanting the owners to show the books and show where these costs are being a detriment to them. Like how is it been this much of a catastrophe to where they can't have the season with this amount of monetary loss? So, from that 112 game proposal that Tony Clark, the head of the former player Tony Clark, the head of the Players Union, helped build up and set aside that for those players, the owners denied it. The owners denied it, saying that, okay, here's our offer. Here's one last offer of 50 games, and we're not doing any more counter offers. In that case, it was just going to be prorated play, and there wasn't going to be an extra pay cut, but only for literally less than a third of the season. The Players Union take issue in this because they want more games, and they don't want to have to take the salary cuts as well. Then as we're getting towards mid-May, mid to later May, you're getting the owners trying to say that for this season to go on, we're going to need these players to take a pay cut based on a sliding curve, essentially, where the highest paid players in the league are going to have to take more of a pay cut than the lower pay, just for the fact that there's more money there for them to give up. And from there, they make one thing that we end up getting as of a couple days ago on June 6th, as today's June 9th. You have one last offer from the owners, giving the option of a 76 game schedule, with that new improvised pay cut format, and with the prorated play, and at that point the players' union stated that this new plan is worse than the 50-game plan you had tried before. So just because you're trying to get more games on, just because you're getting more games on doesn't mean that's going to end up going and fitting to the players' benefit to make them actually want to come back. So it really feels like at this point there's a good shot that you might not get baseball in 2020. You might not get Major League Baseball in 2020 because of when this virus went down and how that completely shot the start of spring training, shot any way of getting the start of the regular season. And because of the disagreements between the players' union and the owners, the chance for a second spring training that would have been starting in about a week is not really going to be possible at this point. And the players were wanting to get it set up to where off of the players' most recent proposal, they wanted to make it to where if anything COVID related makes it to where anything would happen to the postseason or canceling of other games, they would get a referral to the payment that they would have received in those games towards any part of the season. Between that and they wanted to be able to make a second spring training and get it to where all the players would end up getting about $100 million set for all of them to a $100 million advance payment for the setup of that second spring training. Now, there was no set date. There was no set date on when that would start or anything along those lines, because it was almost as if the offer that the players' union had posted for the owners, they weren't expecting them to agree at this point, even though they were making it their final offer. So we're stuck at a standstill at this point, where really most of COVID ended up affecting the U.S. as of Mardi Gras, so mid-February. So we're going on really 4 months of this as baseball was about to get started with spring training. And really we would have been, at this point, we would have been a month away from getting the All-Star game, which there's no way there's going to be any sort of All-Star game. There's really no way we're going to get that 112 game season, even though players said that they were willing to end up playing into November and December. But that was going to end up fighting the approval of fans between baseball and football. And at this point, baseball has become it's America's pastime, and by pastime, it's become the third of the big three sports of basketball, football, baseball. And so the more you get into having competition with both football and basketball, the more that the interest of it is going to go down, even whenever it does come back. So this could end up being kind of a nail in the coffin for a sport that has been having kind of a steady decline over the past few years. Them trying to pick up the pace, them trying to improve fan appeal. And at this point, if you if you go with the numbers on what COVID is happening, as COVID has affected, it really does go through a lot of the... It has affected, for the most part, the kind of middle-aged to upper-age Americans, and where the average age interest of baseball is going towards an all-time high. You don't have those youth fans that have baseball as their primary interest. It's more basketball, football, and you're even getting soccer more involved with more people. So, if at a time that really everywhere is starved of any sports activity, for baseball not to be able to kind of come together between players and owners, get this together, for making an agreement that would end up being better for the sport overall, it could end up being one thing that makes really baseball kind of an afterthought, and just the interest level of it becoming all-time low. And it's not going to help whenever the collective bargaining agreement for baseball comes up soon, and owners and players are on such stark differences on what they want. There's potential for a strike and kind of a holdout for the season coming up within the next couple years anyway. It just came to this virus to pretty much put that in the forefront for a sport that's been really declining since the early 2010s. But give me any opinions y'all have down in the description down below. Comment anything on it, anything I said, anything you think I left out. If y'all enjoy this, kind of going a little bit broader. Honestly, feels like I'm going a little baseball politics off of it. But hopefully I don't have to do that, and I can start. We can start getting something that is game oriented that we can actually see. But if y'all enjoy this, please like, subscribe, please share it out to other people. If you enjoy seeing the landscape of it, I can do more of this. I can do more of this in the future. Just getting a little different backdrop just to see how it'll work out. But yeah, thank y'all for watching. Y'all stay safe through all this. I'm the Contained Coon as the Stat 7 Sports, and see y'all next time.